Good afternoon, good evening everyone. My name is SlothFang and today we are unboxing the Sega Genesis Flashback. It's an HD 85 built-in game with the ability to add more. And as you can see here, it showcases Sonic, Mortal Kombat, and Phantasy Star 4. And with this, it does include also Shining Force, Sonic the Hedgehog 2, Golden Axe, Shinobi 3, Phantasy Star 3, 2, and it's hard to read even in person. Goblins, Urgathians, whatever it is. Oh well. With this, it does give you a 2.4 gigabyte wireless controller, 720 HD output HD, save and resume games, as well as rewind games, and a cartridge slot. That's right, a cartridge slot or an SD slot are available to add more games to this device, which is something that I believe that the NES and SNES didn't feature, though they did give you the ability to add different things. So here's the front of the box, essentially the top. If we're laying it down, it would look like this for the bottom, showcasing similar games again. The controllers, as well as stating that each wireless controller requires 2 AAA batteries not included. Images are for reference only, and actual product and appearances specification may vary. So the right side of this box looks like this, which showcases the actual plug and play description for you here. Plug into TV, plug and play. Package includes Genesis Flashback game console, 85 built-in games, 2.4 gigahertz wireless controllers, micro USB power adapter, HDMI cable, and instruction manual. It showcases information about the actual console itself, a cartridge slot, HDMI output, micro USB, SD cards on the side, first player game controller jack, and the second player game controller jack, power on and off and menu, player 1 and player 2. It showcases player 1 having the rewind menu start and directional pad with a power indicator, power on and off, Z key, Y key, X key, C key, B key, and A key. The big difference then is that the menu and then the rewind button are only on player 1 versus player 2 has everything else. So that's the big key difference there. As well as scan and find out more about this product here. So if we go then to the left side, it gives you your generic, recycling, ages 15 and up, as well as any sort of copyright information. And the model number. It is made in China. Before we get to the back, and then I'm going to show you the back. If this is the front top, and this is the back top, which is at games.net. At Games Flashback Zone is at games.us. So if we flop this around, you can see Sega Genesis Flashback. And it showcases Alex, Kid in the Enchanted Castle, Alien Storm, Altered Beast, Arrow Flash, Bonanza Bros, Shakan the Forever Man, or Chakan if some would pronounce it, Calms 3, Comic Zone, Crackdown, Decap Attack, Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine, Eastwatch City Under Siege, Eternal Champions, Fatal Labyrinth, Flicky, Gain Ground, Golden Axe 2, Golden Axe 3, Jewel Master, Kid Chameleon, Mortal Kombat 2, Mortal Kombat 3, Rise Star, Shadow Dancer, The Secret of Shinobi, Shining Force 2, The Ancient Seal, Shining in the Darkness, Sonic & Knuckles, Sonic 3D Blast, Flicky's Island, Sonic Spinball, Super Thunderblade, Sword of Vermilion, The Ooze, Vector Man 2, Virtual Fighter 2, and more. Alright, so for this, we're going to actually go ahead and open up this bad boy here. Position the camera just right. Before this, I've already untaped it just to make it easier for one-handed purposes. And here we are. So overall, we have a few papers here. First and foremost, how do I pair the controllers? Pause this video to read this how-to. Alright. We have the console, we have the controllers, the power adapter. First and foremost is your typical power adapter with the micro USB plug. It reminds me of an Android almost like one of the Android phones I had, or the non-Android style controllers, which are wireless, which is a nice This is obviously player 1 has the rewind and menu buttons on it, and it's your typical Sega Genesis. Power indicator is here, where the batteries will be back here. It's interesting that they didn't actually add in a feature to actually plug in to the controller, but that's something that is, you know, interesting enough. So we'll set over here. We have the second player controller, as it only features a start button and no menu, no rewind button on the front, as well as the buttons and things here. And again, battery on the back for you. Power indicator here. So that's all there, fine and dandy. Now with this, you have then, there's no, like, for me, I always look at it as like, oh, it's like the PlayStation, you're gonna open up, you don't. You have the menu button. On and off. And then this here is the classic, it looks like you're gonna press something, but to my knowledge, it doesn't actually do anything here. More likely, if you put a game in, you could probably pull it out, but I'd prefer just inserting a cartridge here. And of course, on the side here, we have a few things. The micro SD is here, as well as the two controllers go on the front here. It showcases, it focuses controller 1 and controller 2 on the front here, as well as the information on the back here, which showcases Sega Genesis Flashback for you, as well as last but not least, I said that wrong. It's the HDMI cable port for here, and that for that, so it's right there. So yeah, so we have not only this HDMI cable here, as well as the console here for that. That all fits neat into this package here. And you have this cheap, kind of shoddy, non-recyclable. It's kind of a pain that they would feature something it's solid, but for recycling purposes, why? Why not get something a little bit more simpler, a little bit more, maybe even easier to use? You could potentially, if you wanted to recycle, you could potentially use soil and put it in here for plants temporary, as well as putting some holes here. But how everything sits is more or less like this. 1, 2. And so this has been the unboxing. Now you're probably wondering, what was that first paper? Well, let's get to it. So this first one here was for the Sega Genesis games, all of the games here, as well as bonus games here. And then here, the ISED statement. Again, scan to find out more about this product, as well as about the Sega Genesis, the classic 8-bit Sega Master System. Portable Sega Game Gear games are included. Since these games were designed for platforms other than Genesis, performance and control options may vary. The SEC statement. And let's flip over to the back for you here. So this breaks into 3 parts. This breaks into first, the appearance and key list. So that third button was the volume slider, which is cosmetic, given the situation, and it lists each of the detail there. What to do when the power supply is not working, how to connect an HDTV, and a wireless controller, appearance and key list. Again, pause at any time should you want more of this information. How to confirm that 2.4 gigahertz wireless controllers are connected to the console. What are the 2 controller ports on the console for, and how to connect wired controllers. What to do when the controller is not working, change the batteries for the controller, how do I start playing. How do I play 2-player games? How do I play cartridges? Will the cartridge slot support all games using SD card? And safety notices. Well, folks, this has been SlothFang for the Sega Genesis. Remember, Sega does what Nintendo don't. Like, share, subscribe if you enjoyed this video, and we'll see more unboxings down the road.